Happy December, everyone! I hope you're ready for the silly season. It's a good idea to get organized for that because I know a lot of people have a lot going on in December. As always, I'm keeping things pretty simple as far as my layout. I wanted to try something new this month and I ordered these stamps on Wish. They were very cheap. They're, I think, silicone or plastic or something like that. They came on a sheet, but I cut them up so that I could bring them with me because I'm not actually at home at the moment when I'm recording this one, and I'm going to be incorporating those into my setup this month. As well as the stamps, I've also got my trusty, old faithful Faber-Castell Pitt Artist brush pens. I didn't end up using the bright blue here, I only used the other colours. I actually didn't use the black either now that I think about it, but I'm going for very cool tones because December marks the beginning of summer here in Australia, and I just don't want to look at a page full of hot Christmas colours, which is why I've chosen these ones. And my faithful metallic Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens as well. I've got the pinky, magenta-y, purpley one, a blue one and a silver one to give me a little bit of sparkle. Maybe not sparkle, a little bit of sheen. Of course, there is my trusty Artline Superfine pen, which I'm going to be using to draw all of my lines and outline some things as well. Of course, I'm going to need an ink pad for my stamps. This one I also got on Wish. And an acrylic block on which to mount your stamps. The way these sticky stamps work is that you peel them off a backing and stick them on this thing, and then you stick them on your page from there and you can see through it, so it's very easy to line up where you'd like your stamp to be. I've also got a couple of rolls of washi tape. I didn't end up using the gold one, but I did use it last month, so if you'd like to see that, I'll pop a link to the layout I did for November up in the cards. I did use the silver check washi tape, however, so stay tuned to see him. And of course, a bullet journaling staple, gotta have a cup of tea. Because I've never used these stamps before, I thought it would be a good idea to give them a test run in the back of the book here, and I found that colouring over them with the Faber-Castell brush pens did make it smudge quite a bit, and also it transfers onto the other page, so keep a little bit of paper on hand to, I guess, blot between pages as you work through so that it doesn't transfer, because that definitely happened to me a few times here. For my cover page, I thought, what can I do for December with these leafy designs and these cool tones that might look really cool? And because of Christmas coming up, I thought of a wreath. So I picked out the, I guess, smaller leaf designs from the stamp collection and got an idea of how they'd look all together, and then popped my title down first so I could make sure that I don't accidentally stamp over the top of it. And then I'm going to lay down all of my colour, so I'm kind of just scribbling randomly with the pastel toned Pitt brush pens to, I guess, sort of evenly distribute, but also sort of randomly distribute these tones. And now it's time to get stampy. I'm going to start with a big one because if it's going to take up a lot of wreath real estate, then I won't need to stamp as many times. So pop it on the stamp block, get some ink on there, and then whack it on down onto your page wherever you like. I'm going to put it here. There we go. Because I was still very new to the stamps, I didn't realize that it would be a good idea to wipe off the excess ink that ends up on the stamp block and not necessarily the stamp. And I did get a little bit of ink in places where I wasn't intending to get any ink a few times, but it doesn't bother me that much. It's just I guess a bit of a learning curve. Keep some tissues or some paper towel on hand and maybe a glass of water as well in case you need a little bit of extra juice to get that ink off. And if any of the stamps don't quite lay down the ink the way you were hoping, I've just been filling in the gaps with my trusty Superfine fine liner, just to make it look like it stamped the way I wanted it to. And nothing has to be perfect, as always. My bullet journal philosophy, I guess, is that if you look at it from far away and it looks good, then you've done a good job and just go with it. You'll also see I'm getting some fingerprints on the page over here, so it might be also a good idea to wash your hands a lot during this process. I'm going back to this lavendery sort of stamp for the facing page just to give a little something something at the top of my calendar. Time to draw out the calendar for December. So I've found the best way to get a straight line is to line yourself up with the page and then move your entire arm to draw down the page, not just your wrist and your hand, but your entire arm. And if you can, even lean back your whole torso a little bit. And that gets you a really nice, clean, not necessarily perfect, but definitely adequate line. And I like that it's got a little bit of character, that it's not completely straight. And then also I'm not smudging things with a ruler or having to carry an extra piece of gear around with me when I'm putting together my bullet journal on the road. But let's be real, I don't use a ruler at home either. Ain't nobody got time for that. Actually, I think a lot of people have time for that, but I just am not a rulery line kind of girl. Just adding some more of my icy colors in here to hopefully help me feel cool through the hot December that we will probably have in store. In case you didn't know, quite a bit of Australia is on fire right now, which is not fantastic, and there are quite a few near me. I'm not under any threat, but it has been a lot. Oh, I got some ink on me. I'm not a super duper Christmassy kind of girl. I do enjoy the family, I guess, gathering aspect of the holiday, but I didn't want to get super Christmassy on this spread. I wanted it to be, I guess, hinting at Christmas holidays kind of thing. So I thought I'd just add a little bell to my little lavendery display up the top here, I guess. I thought I'd do it with the purple pen, but then I remembered how freaking pink it is, so I switched over to the blue, and because they're sort of a thick painty kind of thing, it sort of worked pretty well. I did go a little bit too hard on the blue trying to cover it up though, and it's bled through the page a little bit, so you'll see that on the other side, but it's fine. It doesn't worry me. I'm only going to be using this for a month, so not a problem. And then I thought it just was looking a little bit empty, a little bit bare, so a little bit of washi tape to just line the bottom. I like to cut it in the middle of the page so that the page folds in a bit nicer, but you can not do that. You can go right across the double spread if you want to, and a little bit along the top too, just to really frame my December cover page here. I feel like there is something about a check pattern that's quite festive. Just going to erase my pencil lines, and then we're going to carry on. Definitely keeping some loose paper in between my pages, but you'll see later, I guess I didn't leave it there for long enough because I still got some transfer from the wreath over onto the calendar page, but that's fine. Gratitude and habit tracker pages are going to be exactly the same as always. I'm thinking I might change these up in the new year, but for now, I'm just going to leave it. And you'll see when I flick back to November's gratitude and habit tracker pages to copy my habits over that I really haven't been using them. It's almost the end of November, and you can see I think I've only filled out like the first day of the gratitude log and the first couple of days of the habit tracker and mood tracker, but I'm gonna pop it in here and see if I can get my act together for this month, and then I guess if I can't, then I won't do that next month. Bit of a test for myself. I used to be really into these pages, but I guess times change. I do still enjoy having a habit tracker, so I guess I'll carry that over regardless. In terms of some of the bigger things that I have to track, just so that I can look back and be like, when is the last time I did this, rather than things that I have to do every day. With my alternate highlighting here on the gratitude page, I always mess up at least one of these, so as is tradition, I definitely messed up one Thursday the 19th, I think. I've highlighted 3 instead of 2 lines there, but that's okay. Just going to add a couple more stampy stamps in here just to tie everything together. Make sure there's a little bit of blue and a little bit of lavender going on to keep my theme consistent. And now we're going to turn the page again. My spending tracker is so functional, but I really do need all of the page to make it happen. We are just drawing out a nice big table. I like to track my expense. I like to categorize it, write down how much it cost, and then at the end of the month I can itemize everything, I guess, and see how much I spent on each area of my life and see how much maybe I could have saved if I was a little less frivolous sometimes, and I've found that this has really helped me, so I definitely recommend a spending tracker if you've been a little bit scared to try it. Just popping some more of my stamps along the bottom, getting a little bit messy here because I haven't quite got the hang of it, and I'm also quite close to the end of this notebook. This is a Leuchtturm 1917 that I have inside a Choose to Do in a hollow cover, but I just felt like the colour wasn't coming through enough on this particular setup, so I went back in with the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens, the metallic ones, and just sort of drop shadowed, I guess, some of these stamps. I didn't want to use the brush pens because I knew they would smudge it, but these ones are very thick, sort of painty ink, so I thought that would be okay, and it was. Love it when a plan comes together. I haven't put a social media page in my bullet journal for months because I wasn't using them, but I'm also haven't really been using social media lately, so I'm trying to get back on track with that. And I thought I'd try to be really efficient with my decoration here and put 3 stamps at a time on my block and kind of make that as efficient as I could, and it worked, and I was quite proud of myself. Again, being towards the end of the book has given the page a bit of a curve, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to get really good ink payoff when you're stamping down there, but it honestly doesn't worry me. I like the look of a stamp when it's a little bit imperfect, so we're gonna roll with it. And a little bit of washi tape and a little bit of lavender just to, I guess, bring a bit more color, and it wasn't enough color for me, so I'm getting in there with the Pitt pens again. I'm not doing all of the little bits and pieces, I'm just highlighting a few of them with the magenta color. And now we're on to our first weekly spread for December. So December begins on a Sunday and I like to start my weeks on a Monday. So I've popped that 1st of December over into my November setup just so that a whole week can go on a spread and I'm not breaking up any weeks because I don't like doing that. I'm stealing an idea here partly from the lovely Ashley from the Best Dressed YouTube channel and also partly from my own lovely partner Chris, who bullet journals with just a single black pen and a moleskin notebook, and he does a really good job at that. But they both have this kind of hourly schedule in their bullet journals, and I thought that might be a really good way to bring some structure to my day. I'm self-employed, I work from home, I can just roll out of bed and work all day in my pajamas if I want to, but if I set myself up a schedule, which I've done digitally in the past and found it really effective, then maybe I can have some structure in my day again and some routine, and I think that would be really good. I've plotted from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. because those are the hours that I'm usually doing things. Sometimes I have dance rehearsals in the evening, so I do need it to go up until 8 p.m. because I'm not finishing my day at 5 when a lot of people are knocking off work and going home. And here we have the final flip through. I know it's not perfect and there are quite a few smudges going on here, but I actually love this setup so much. I love the colors. I think I'm going to feel so calm and cool and have a little bit more patience through the hot month of December because of this. I hope that you're warm and toasty or nice and cool wherever you are in the world. And I didn't bring my baby pink washi tape that I usually tag off the sides here, so I'm going to fix that up when I get back to my own house where all of my stuff is. Thank you so much for planning with me for December. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a beautiful December ahead, whatever it has in store for you. Keep an eye out for my 2020 bullet journal setup, which will be coming very soon, and I can't wait to see you guys again in the new year, or maybe a little sooner. As always, all my social media info is in the description. Give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you'd like to see more of this kind of video, and I will catch you again very soon. Happy holidays!